Mr. Carter, how are you today, sir?
Dr. Carter, I'm feeling pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I can't complain. Where are you? Are you in Miami or something?
Hey man,
Cabo,
I'm in Missouri City. I wish, I
Mikasa.
wish I was
Mikasa.
yeah, I was in Mikasa Sukasa.
I like it. That's a great view. That's a great
What'd
backyard
you say?
view.
So you haven't come by to see the new pool?
No, I haven't
Am
seen
I
the
right?
new pool and the.
Kind of
Oh
cool.
man,
Kind of nice.
that looks
Nice way
really
to have.
nice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
You
Try
know,
to be like you.
one day when I grow up, I want to be just like you. And then maybe, maybe you can invite me over as well. I can just come over and just, swim in the pool or something. I
Hey
don't
man, we're trying to be like each other, so we're just going around in circles, just going around in circles.
know. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's Thursday. It is our DYS, or in other words, the Double Your Success podcast. I am Dr. Carter, and Mr. Stephen Carter is to my left, right? I don't know. It's a
Right,
little,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah. But it's a pleasure to be here, and we are super excited about having another great podcast this week. Um, what do you think, Stephen? Are you excited about it? Are you ready?
Man, I'm always excited. Always excited to sit beside my brother, man, and talk about some good nuggets that we can share with our people, and hopefully someone will grab something, even if it's something small that they can grow or use to help someone else grow. So that's what it's all about.
That's it. That's it. And we want to hear from you. So let us know you're in the building, you're watching. Just say hello. If
Please.
you have questions, feel free to drop those in the comments. We'll share those. We always like to engage with our viewers, so we always have a good time with that. So
Absolutely. You know what, sister? We should feel pretty good. So we're, I think, four in a row right now, right?
I
Four for
know
four in
exactly. We may
2022.
exactly.
Such a
They say
beautiful
what they
thing.
say about habits. After a certain period of time, and that takes a little bit more than four. But once you develop a habit, then it's just it's set, and it
That's it.
becomes it becomes the norm. So
Then that's it.
good deal. Let's go ahead and get started. Just want to say hello to Miss Heather Davis. She is in the building. How you doing? Yes, great, great, great to see you. And we are absolutely all about Langston University. So
LU Lions, absolutely.
yes, yes. And Festus is in the building. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, Festus.
So yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into it. And we have a great topic today. Stephen, what do you think? I mean, what do you think about this topic? What's it mean? What's it all about?
So yeah, I mean, this was one that you came up with, and I really like the topic, Sterl. It's so we were basically talking about, during the pandemic, everyone was trying to kind of reinvent themselves, and it was a reinvention that happened both personally, professionally, religiously. People were just kind of really rethinking life. What is important? Are you happy? Are you doing the things that make you happy? We realize that every day is not promised, and so just enjoying every day. So the topic that we brought up today is that, are you ready for a career change? As we went through this entire pandemic, obviously we're still going through it. We realize what's important, and if you're not happy at your career, if you're not happy in your job, maybe it's time to look at a career change. What do you think, Sterling?
I mean, you're spot on, Steve. It's like what we've learned is life is too short, right? So you don't
Yeah.
want to stay in a career if it's not if it's not motivating you, if it's not completing you, it's not something you need to be in. And so what we're going to talk about first, and we've actually kind of talked about it, is what's the top reason to change jobs? Why do you want to get, if you're thinking about changing a job or a career, here are the things that most people typically, if they're experiencing this, it may be time for a job change or career change altogether. But if you're unhappy, I mean, if you're unhappy, if you're stressed all the time, if you wake up every morning and you just don't want to get up and get out of bed and go to work, you just dread
Hmm.
going to work. If you feel like you're in a rut and you're not going anywhere, you've reached that glass ceiling and there's just no advancement opportunities. I mean, those are kind of signs that are telling you, okay, it's just this may not be for you. If sometimes hours may be too long, the commute may be too long. And of course, what's important to most people is pay. Maybe the money isn't right.
Right.
So a lot of different reasons, but at some point you got to make that decision. Do I want to stay where I am, or do I want to take that big leap? And we've all, sometimes it's scary. and you don't know what the future holds. But what you do know is right where you are right here and right now is not where you want to be. So,
Exactly.
Stephen, have you ever been in a position like that? Just wondering, is it time to make a
I
change?
have. Yeah, I have. I definitely have. And, and sometimes, one thing I'll say is that when it comes to a job and working for an employer, normally people's happiness is tied to the manager that you report to the boss that you report to. And so if you have a manager that you're not in sync with, that has poor management skills and more, poor management style, that's going to make you unhappy. And so sometimes maybe it's not that you actually need to make a career change. Maybe you just need to make a job change, or another employer, another manager, maybe even changes within the company that you're at. But if you've considered all of those things and you've made all of those changes and you're still not happy, then definitely a career change may be for you.
Yeah, I agree with you, Stephen. I remember, I think it was back in 2007, 2008. And I was in a rut. I felt like I'd reached the glass ceiling at the hospital I was working for. And I really, really felt like that there was more out there in the world. And I felt like in regards to healthcare and taking care of people and patients, that there's a better way to do it. And I really felt like, and Stephen and I have always talked about, we've always felt like that we have, when you have gifts and for much that is given, much is expected, and whatever that analogy is, but the whole Spider-Man, Superman thing, not that we're Spider-Man and Superman, but when you have gifts and you need to give those to the world. And if you're not giving those to the world the way that God has intended you to give those to the world, then it's time to make a change.
Speak. It's so true. True. Spot on.
So let's jump into the comments real quick, and then we're going to talk about the top paying jobs in the United States, which is always fun, right?
Absolutely.
So, so saying hi to Heather. And Festus says hello, looking real sharp in his profile picture. And D Nolan says hello. Hey, D, good to see you. D. Hey, Kim. Kim is in the building. What's going on? Juan, what's going on, sir?
Where you been, Juan?
I know. Where you been? You used to be so active and out there mentoring and helping us out with the 100 Black Men of America. We haven't seen you. So Heather says people don't leave bad jobs; they leave bad managers. That is so true, so true. And Tanisha, we haven't seen Tanisha in a while either. Hey, Tanisha, good to see you. Sometimes we have to change our attachment behaviors in those relationships, jobs, people, food, habits, etc. Does it really equate to being happy, unhappy, or just really unbalanced? It sounds like we need to have Tanisha on the podcast. I think she's speaking some knowledge over here. I love it.
She was like, let's go for these husbands, these relationships. See, she's trying to go deeper than we're trying.
I know. Jobs. Tanisha has a great podcast too, talking about relationships and everything. It gets pretty deep, pretty raw.
Absolutely.
No. Okay, James Gill says bravo. All right. And Festus, y'all talking my talk today. You already understand, Festus. We had a great conversation about that. And then Neat says, hey, Car Brother, glad to be here. One more comment, we better go. You must have a wire up at Herman. That is so true. So true. Any comments on your side, Steve, before we jump into the fun stuff?
Jump in. I haven't checked over there. I apologize. Keep rolling.
Okay. So we're going to jump into the big question of the day. So look, if you're going to change jobs, right? Why not go for some of the top paying jobs in the United States? Yeah.
Why not
that money. Exactly. Money is not everything. Don't get me wrong. But if you're going to change careers, at least be informed about the best paying careers. So we're going to have fun with this. So number one, and actually, surprisingly, the top 10. So the top 10 paying careers in America are all in healthcare, but they're all medical doctors. They're all specialists. They're medical doctors that are specialists or surgeons. But it was pretty amazing. So the top 10 of the list of top paying jobs in America, we just had to put them all together, was physicians and surgeons. I mean, the salaries, the mean is $194,000 to $271,000 a year, with an anesthesiologist being the number one slot. at 271,000. So pretty amazing there. So if healthcare is your love, then I would say go to med school, get your residency done, and get into healthcare, because pound for pound, it's a great field to go into.
I tell you what, Dr. Carter, 4 years is it's not a long time. It goes by like that. To
Yeah,
make
yeah.
that kind of to sacrifice 4 years to potentially make 200 grand a year, that's that's a pretty nice exchange.
Yeah, 4 years. Well, it's a little bit. It's 4 years for med school, but then there's another 2 years of residency, and then if you go and if you're a surgeon, then you have to. So it ends up being about 6 to 8 years, which is one of the reasons why I decided to go the other route in healthcare. But at the end of the day, the money. I mean, the money is there. The statistics don't lie. There's that sacrifice really makes a difference. So the next one is Stephen can talk all about that, because Stephen is the CEO. What do you think, Stephen?
Well, yeah, of course, Sterling and I are very committed to entrepreneurship and building generational wealth through your own business, and kind of unplugging from the matrix, if you will. But being a business owner is not for everyone. But and obviously you could be a CEO and not own the business as well. But to be in that top position, obviously that comes with a lot of perks. And when you're in corporate America, the bigger payout for a CEO is not even a salary, right? The bigger payout ends up being bonuses and shares that you're given, and equity positions in the company. So there's a lot of benefits to go along with that. And you talk about some of the top Fortune 500 CEOs, they're making a ton of money. But just to be CEO of your own business, the sky is the limit, right? As they say.
That's a really good point, Stephen. And one other thing to kind of highlight in regards to being a CEO, a lot of people think that, I don't want to be a CEO because it's going to be too much responsibility, or I'm going to have to work long hours. But honestly, by the time you get to the level of a chief executive officer, you have so many managers and levels of managers, and you have such a large team. If you're doing it the right way, you should be delegating and spending more time with business on business development. So you should be out of the office, on the golf course, traveling to conferences, doing those kind of things. So you would be really surprised. So don't be afraid of becoming I guess, aspiring to become a CEO.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So number 3, so airline pilots and flight engineers. So if you ever thought about wanting to become a pilot, and you love flying, and you want to fly for United or Southwest or any of those, hey, not a bad salary.
Not a bad salary at all. Shout out to our buddy Xavier, who's a pilot for United and does really well. But
our high school friend Billy McDonald graduated from Willow Ridge High School, grew up in Chasewood. He's a pilot. So a lot of great guys out there. So okay. Computer IT software, it's the wave of the future. So if you're into coding, technology, IT, this area is really, really booming. So great area to look into. And I think as far as training is concerned, it's not as many hours of training and schooling as it may be for some of these other kind of career paths, right, Stephen?
Absolutely. And for those that have kids and you're trying to kind of steer your kids into the right field to go into, do me a favor, don't have them go to school and get a degree in art or get a general business degree. It doesn't make any sense. Why go get a 4-year college degree and you have nothing to show for it? Let's focus on one of these areas that's going to actually bring you some money. So even if you are past that time frame where you don't want to kind of go back to college and figure it out, share with the younger folks where to go and what to do so that they make an investment in their time and energy that's going to pay out at the end of the day.
That is really, really spot on, Stephen. We should stop for a minute and just, talk a little bit on that, because there are so many kids right now that are graduating with degrees and they can't find jobs. The reason why they can't find jobs is the degrees that they're getting, they're not really the right kind of degrees to get a job. Exactly. And so we have to be a little bit more strategic. It's those days that are gone in regards to you just get a degree and you can find a great job. No, you have to have a degree that actually puts you in the right position to get a great job. Or you may be a highly educated person working at Walmart. There's nothing wrong with working at Walmart, but I'm talking about working at Walmart not as a manager, but doing something else. So,
exactly. And the beautiful thing, Sterling, about computer and IT is that actually these are careers that you really don't need to have a degree to get into. You can complete certification courses. You can go through and get the experience and the certifications and actually still achieve some of these same salaries without that college degree. So definitely the sky's the limit, right? There's options.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's jump over to our comments a little bit here. So Tanisha, we're cracking her up. She says, "Laugh out loud." And Juan says, "Working now to develop my company, grinding as a new entrepreneur." Juan, we applaud you.
Congrats. Love that.
That's not entrepreneurship is not for the faint at heart. So let us know if you need anything.
Yeah.
Our brother from another mother, Mr. Juan Bruce, Mr. Alpha Pi, Kappa Alpha Psi, Langston University, says, "Well said, Juan. Give me a call. We haven't talked in a little bit. We need to catch up."
Good to hear you. I'm glad you're feeling better as well, Noob.
Absolutely, absolutely. Indeed. I'm in clinical research and love it. You get the medical side and with administrative hours. That's spot on, because we're talking about the physicians and the surgeons. They work long hours, a lot of stress, a lot of liability. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot that comes with working those high-paying jobs. What about the people quitting jobs and starting their own business? And you're absolutely right, Tanisha. We're all about that. If it's your time, if you're not happy in your job and you have a skill and you can do something better than anyone else, and we all have our talents, get out there, do your own thing. Yeah. It's so rewarding, and you can work 60 to 80 hours a week and never even get tired when you're working on your own business and you're doing something that you love. So spot on, Tanisha. Let's see here. My brain is not sciencey. So what's next to slides? Good point, Heather. It's coming. And Roger Dodger. I haven't talked to Roger in a while, man. Roger doesn't like me anymore. I don't know what's going on.
You know what? So I got to mess with Roger. So Roger posts up in his new G-Wagon on Facebook to just kind of show the people how he's stunting. Roger, we see you, man. Right. We see you stunting. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And so let me see here. There's a lot of comments. I love this. Thanks for sharing. Monsi says, "Hey, Monsi, glad to have you in the building."
Hey, Monsi.
And YouTubers are making more than surgeons right now without the debt. Now that's real.
Let's be real about the YouTube sensation. That's great. That's short-lived. It's going to last. If you're not, as a YouTuber, you may make a lot of money for 6 months, a year, maybe even 2 years. That's not a career. That is not a full-time hustle. So get the money while you can, but you need to be investing and looking at some other ways to make that money grow. And no, not downplaying the YouTube movement, Instagram movement, all of that, but just know that that's a short-term hustle.
That's a good point. I mean, I know they were just putting out in regards to cryptocurrency, right? There were all these millionaires being made every single day in cryptocurrency, and I know it's not going anywhere. But right now, it's tanking. Bitcoin value's down by 50%. Ethereum is down by 50%, and I invest in it. So it's really topsy-turvy. But when you're looking for consistency and you're looking for something that over time is going to pay in a consistent way, you got to follow the stats. So good point, Stephen. Good point.
Absolutely.
All right. So jumping right in here, we'll move a little bit faster because there's a lot of ones. So engineering, architectural engineers, engineering managers, 158,000. And the cool thing about this, Steve, remember we were talking about what was it? How to make it your best year ever, or who are the top earners? And what we were talking about is that if you make $100,000 or more, then you're in the top 10% in the country. Every single job that we're talking about here pays well over $100,000. So something to consider.
Yeah.
Natural science managers. I had to research this one to see exactly what's in natural science managers in that category. But it's biologists, chemists, and that kind of thing. Those folks that are working in oil and gas and looking at the mud and the oils and and the pollution, all that kind of good stuff. So
hmm
what else we got, Steve?
Marketing managers. So, it's always, if you have the gift of gab and you know how to sell and influence people and make people kind of, influence people to buy what you have to sell or whatever, you're always going to make a ton of money, whether or not you go into marketing and market for another company, or if you use those marketing skills for your own company. Just being strong in marketing is always going to be a way to make money. So I have always known more people in the marketing field to make more money than any other, on average, than the other people that I know of. So definitely, I wonder, so it would be interesting to know the volume of people in these different career paths, because I bet there's a huge volume of people in this marketing manager group that makes that kind of money versus, say, engineers or something like that.
That's a good point. That's a good point. There'll be definitely some more research there is needed to answer that one. Engineers. So engineering is starting to come up over and over again. If you're a petroleum engineer, you can make six figures
Oil and
plus.
gas,
Oil
absolutely,
and gas. And in Texas, that's big. That's big.
yeah, absolutely. Financial
Financial management.
managers,
There's a lot
yeah.
of
So
financial
that's
managers out there. We get calls from financial managers all the time, and I'm assuming financial managers is like financial advisors as well, and that's a big category. But it looks like there's a lot of opportunities if you're good with finances and you want to manage those finances. Stephen, you've always been in finance. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a ton of opportunity. Obviously, being able to, anything that is in math or science, you just can't lose, right? It's those STEM jobs, and we talk about STEM. We're obviously trying to encourage STEM for our youth. But if you do anything in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, it's just automatic. That's where the money is.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. And the last one on the list to roll up the list, lawyers. Lawyers, the mean average pay for lawyers is 148,910. So, Stephen, you beat us to the punch in regards to like top jobs.
Yeah,
It's healthcare, it's engineering, it's IT and software development, it's lawyers, and then anything in finance. So if
yep,
you want to get into some areas where you can really, really excel, those are areas that you really want to get into. So the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit. So let's go back into our comments, and then we're going to talk about now. The fun stuff about the top areas. Then we're going to finish up really quick, just talking about how to select the right area based on your particular needs and skills.
right.
But comments. So we got, let's see here. Roger said, let's see. So Roger says he'll be contacting both of us soon. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Heather says, thank you for pointing out about YouTube. Yes, we appreciate that, Tanisha. Jada says, oh, you fam need to come back and take over as Langston is unassembling from within. Langston is only promoting degrees that get you low key jobs outside of rehab, counseling, and nursing, promoting dead urban education. Langston put the world's best in everything. All right, Jada. Well, that's spot on. Sounds like we have some work to do.
Yep.
Thank you, Ms. Burris. I love that, and I hope you're doing well, as well as all the Burris sisters. And they're a legacy in Langston.
Absolutely.
So love that. What else do we have here? Juan Wims, hey strangers. So Lisa is saying hi to Juan. She needs to connect with him. I love that. We're connecting people. Speaking my language now, Noob. 22 years in pharma leadership. Oh, Michael, we need to talk about that. That's a great field. Pharmacist was in the top 15, by the way. Lisa Garrison, same number. Give me a call. Okay, y'all are having a little connection here. I don't know what's going on, Juan and Lisa, but I like it. Tony, we need to get out and play some golf somewhere. The other day I was talking to Tony. I just knew he's retired, but he's still doing his thing. So I love it. So he says,
Well,
"What's
no,
up?"
no. So Tony has done the ultimate move. He has retired, so he's collecting his retirement,
Right.
and now
And then
he's
he
back
went
in.
That's a good point. That's a good
So
point.
he's doubly paid. That's how you're supposed to do it. While you can
Exactly.
make that money.
That's it. So Tony says, "What's up, my 100 brothers? Working second career, and he's already said it. Second career in oil and gas. Unfortunately, not enough exposure to folks of color. Henceforth, we do not see many in the industry."
That is so true. So
Well
true.
spoken. And Stephen, I know you've talked about that before in the past.
Always one of many, man. I mean, no matter what room I went to, I was always, one of the only. So I know it well, Tony. I know it very well.
Man, we need to talk about that next, is diversity and inclusion in the workplace.
Yes.
So Kendra says, I look at jobs that are recession proof. That makes a lot of sense.
That's it.
Makes a lot of sense because we're going through more and more depressions, recessions, pandemics. So I tell you what, this world is pretty crazy right now. So I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and finish up. We are going to just talk about a few things here in regards to, now you know what the top 10 jobs are. You know what to look out for if it's time for you to make a change. You know what the signs and symptoms are. So now we're going to kind of try to help you choose the best career based on the following reasons. So number one, Stephen.
Yeah, fit your strengths and skills. So one of the things that you have to do is to, we always talk about sitting down, looking yourself in the mirror, figure out what are your pros and your cons. No one is going to be perfect at everything. There are always going to be things that you do very well. It is always better to on the positives and try to reinforce those positives. Not that you can't work on the negatives, but focus on the positives. So if you're very good at sales or marketing, like we just talked about, and right now you're working as an accountant, well, maybe, and you're not happy, obviously, then going into a field that kind of accentuates your strengths is the way to go. So definitely find where your strengths and your skill sets lie, where your skill sets lie.
Well stated. Well stated. And then emotionally and financially rewarding. So, the emotionally part, I mean, you can get into a job that pays really, really well, but if it doesn't connect with you emotionally or even ethically, right? If you're doing something every single day and it just doesn't make you feel good, it just doesn't make you feel, happy about what you're doing, then that's not going to work for you. So you want to find a job that's really going to emotionally connect with you, and of course, that's financially rewarding. You want to. It's not all about money, but you do need to pay the bills, right? That's kind of what we go to work for.
That's it.
Steve.
A tolerable stress level. So I'm so glad that we added the word tolerable stress level to that, because it's important to be real, to say that there's no job, no opportunity, no company, entrepreneurial opportunity that you go to that's not going to have a stress level. That's just not, it's not realistic to think that you can have a job that's not stressful, but it should be tolerable and it should not be consistent. So finding a place where there may be times where there's stress, but there are times, of course, where there's balance. That's what's important.
That is real. And we talked about it a little bit during emotional rewarding slide, but it's got to make you happy. At the end of the day, I mean, whatever career you go into, make sure it makes you happy. Make sure it's something that's that when you get up in the morning, you get up in the morning with a smile. When you're going to work, you're happy about where you're going and what you're doing.
Absolutely. Work-life balance. So that's so important, right? So one of the things we talk a lot about compensation, and obviously with the great resignation that's going on right now, a lot of people are leaving their job for something, right? And if you're leaving it for money, you're leaving it for something else. And so as employers, right, as Sterling and I, as employers, as owning our company and trying to find a way to keep our good people, there's no way that you're going to be able to pay, the highest salary. There's always going to be another company or a job that someone can go to find a higher salary. But what we can offer our employees and what they value the most is work-life balance, having flexibility, being able to take off for, a personal event, being able to take PTO, being able to enjoy being off and not getting phone calls constantly, text messages constantly, to a point where you don't even feel like you're off. Having that good work-life balance is something that as we all as employees value, and definitely, good managers and employers understand how valuable that is to an employee.
Well said, Stephen. And last but not least, just room for advancement. Make sure the job has an opportunity for you to grow. You don't want to get into a position where you're stuck right where you are and you're not going to go anywhere, even if the pay is great when you go right in. if there's not a place for a position for you to grow from a leadership position, more responsibilities, more pay, all that kind of good stuff. If it's not providing those things to you, then it may not be a career path that you want to go into. Good stuff. So that is it for today. We have some few final comments.
Yep.
Love it, love it, love it. So let's see here. So we have Thomas Broussard says, "My guy, salute, love it." Tom.
Yeah, let me certainly shout out to Thomas. Thomas was he was a student of mine at University of Phoenix, and I was an adjunct faculty member. And my classes that I taught were finance, general business, things of that nature. And so, man, he finished up his degree there and went on to do amazing things in oil and gas. I just wanted to shout out to Thomas.
Excellent. Good deal. That's a great story there. So Neith says, absolutely recession proof. I look for careers and opportunities that can't be replaced with AI. Good point. That's smart.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah. Thomas says, Tony Scott, I can definitely relate. Steve knows also. I have one or one of two of that. Yeah. So enough said there. Sometimes just doing what you actually love and connecting to currency and flow. Well said, Tanisha. Mm-hmm. And then Heather says, thank you guys. So that's it. That's all, folks, as they say. Any final comments, Stephen? You want to take us home before we close out? Anything you want to leave the viewers with? Leave our
I think we said a lot, but the final thing that I would say, excuse me, is that we all sometimes get settled in our way, and we get settled in mediocrity and status quo, and we feel like, you know what, it's not going to get any better. There's not opportunities out here. This is at least I know what I'm dealing with right now. If I go to something different, I don't know what I'm going into. I think that when you're in that space of just mediocre or settling just to settle, you're going to never really reach your potential. So what Sterling and I encourage you to do is to take a moment to kind of do a self-assessment and figure out, are you settling? Can you get more? Is there a better opportunity for you? And make a calculated choice to look at something different, move at your own space, but don't settle. Look for something, get the most out of life.
Very well said. Very well said. And we will see you all on next Thursday, God willing. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. We're out.